Health. I'm on an hour early today because I have a client this afternoon. But I wanted to talk to you about I've been sharing some different stuff recently. I am a specialist and focus a lot on women's health, especially in perimenopause and dealing with hormone imbalance. And a lot of them are problems that I've dealt with in the past as well, which is one of the reasons I love to help women with this because I know how frustrating it can be. I've been there. I've been through the experience of going to your doctor and not getting answers and ultimately feeling like there's no support. And I wanna make sure that you understand that there is, and there are other things you can do. But I've been talking a bit more recently as well about my experience with reversing MS symptoms and the journey that I had through that. And ultimately, my journey with MS and the experiences that I had there are the reason that I do what I do today. Because anything that you're struggling with, if you're living with symptoms and you're just trying to get by every day and you don't realize that there's other things you can do, it's exhausting and it can be frustrating. And if medicine's not giving you the answers that you're looking for, sometimes we need to look outside of the box. We need to realize that medicine is very valuable. It serves an incredibly important purpose when it comes to emergency situations. But if it's not serving you and it's not helping you, it doesn't mean you're out of luck. It doesn't mean there's nothing you can do. It just means you need to look further for solutions. And that's the experience I had with MS as well. I was diagnosed when I was 22 years old, which was crazy. I was young. I didn't know that I could do other things, so I did what I'd been raised to do is I went to my doctor and thought, "Okay, the doctor will fix me." And ultimately, it didn't help. I took the medication and watched as my quality of life went out the window, what's the right expression there? Down the toilet. I got sicker and sicker. I had no energy. It was hard to function throughout the day. And when a friend said to me, you know, they're never going to find a cure, right? It was a slap in the face, but it was exactly what I needed. It was the message I'd been looking for to help me take a step forward and realize I can look for other options. And that's ultimately what led to nutrition becoming a part of my awareness and coming into view for me. And now I help so many women with so many other issues as well, because I figured if I can reverse MS and reverse all of my symptoms based on what I put on my fork, what I put in my mouth, and the other things that I'm becoming aware of that are impacting my body, then why can't I help other people with lots of other things as well? So that's the message that I want to get across to you. Well, there's a couple messages. The message that you're not alone. There are things you can do if you're struggling with symptoms. If you're a woman who's coming into her 40s, for me it was around kind of 33, 34. All of a sudden I started having symptoms that I didn't have before. And I was like, what the heck is going on? I was busy. I was back in school for nutrition at the time, doing lots of things, still eating the same, still exercising all the time. And my periods were changing. I did end up going to have a hysterectomy because my doctor said to me, "Your periods are really heavy. There are three things that you can do. You can get an IUD, which I've heard is very painful for women who haven't had pregnancy in the past. It was not something I was interested in. He also said you can go on the pill, which had been a very dangerous situation for me in the past. So I knew I didn't want to do that. And the third option was a hysterectomy. And looking back, would I have made the same choice as I did with more awareness? I'm not sure. We make decisions based on the tools that we have at the time. And so sometimes looking back, you may notice that there's decisions you made that you wouldn't make now. And we can't dwell on that. We can't beat ourselves up for the decisions we made in the past, but you can choose to make different decisions moving forward. And so when it comes to anything that you're dealing with health related, but especially problems for females, if you've listened to your doctor in the past and they've said to you, you can take an SSRI or I'm totally blanking, the medication that helps if you're having anxiety and depression. You can take these pills to deal with the heavy periods. You can take these medications. The problem here is that it's not figuring out why are you having the issues you're having. And that was the same for me with the MS. And a lot of the times they look at this and they say, oh, autoimmune, there's no reason for that. There's no known cause for that. There's no cure for that. But if we took a step back, like I did, and realized, okay, what is my body responding to? What is causing me to have the symptoms that I'm having? And sometimes I get it. A lot of women may be in a position where it's like, I don't care what the cause is. Can you help me? Is there something you can do to help me? And I will tell you, I can. I can help you. I've helped lots of women with heavy periods, with perimenopause symptoms like hot flashes, with weight gain that won't budge. I've been there too. It's frustrating, but there are things you can do. Ultimately, any symptom that your body is dealing with is a sign from the body. And a great quote that I totally love from Barbara O'Neill, she used to be an ND, I don't think she is anymore, out of Australia, was that given the right conditions, the body can heal. And so if your body is not healing or not moving in the right direction, we need to figure out why. What are the things that are getting in the way? And why are you not moving forward as you would like to? And so, can I help you? Yes, I can. Do you need to stress over and worry about the things that are causing you to not function properly or that are giving you symptoms? No. That's where I'm really good because I can help and figure out what is going on. We ask the body. We use a form of testing called quantum nutrition testing that's all about frequency and tapping into the body and figuring out what are the messages your body's trying to send. Because the body doesn't lie. It's telling you what's going on. We're just not conditioned or trained today to listen and understand. And if you're dealing with symptoms of any kind, if it's the hot flashes, if it's the night sweats, if it's the weight gain, if it's bigger things as well, things like heartburn, things like constant migraines, chronic diarrhea, any of these things are not normal. And they're all the body trying to tell you that something needs to be done to help support. And when we give the body the support it needs, these symptoms don't have to continue. But what we need to do is ask and listen and realize that the body is trying to give you a message. So, hopefully, you found this helpful. I just wanted to share this because I talk about MS and I also talk about perimenopause and menopause. And I wanted to help you understand there is a connection between the two of them because MS was my starting point for me personally. That was my journey where it began in figuring out, okay, what can I do? And realizing that food and some lifestyle stuff were really the key pieces to start moving in the right direction of my health. Ultimately, that led to bigger things as well, or to other things as well. Now, I don't know about bigger things, but for some people, it might be. Because after going through that experience for myself, when I started to have perimenopause symptoms, when I started to have the weight gain as I was going to school, when I started to have the difficulty sleeping, like I've had lots of different symptoms as well. But the reason that I'm no longer living with those is because I didn't just look for a band aid. I looked for what is the cause? What is the message that the body is trying to send here? And this is something that I absolutely love helping women with because when we can tap into your body and listen, what is the message? It's an eye opener. It's pretty cool. We do an assessment bundle with new clients, and my favorite part of the bundle is call two because it involves two calls and a full set of testing for you. And when we get into call two, and things come up. I go into this, and when I'm testing someone, I can make some kind of guesses of what's going to come up because I have years of nutrition experience and I've worked with lots of different people. But the funnest part is when I'm totally wrong. When I'm guessing, oh, that sounds like a parasite symptom. And then through testing, it's like, oh my goodness, it's mold. You're dealing with mold. Have you ever lived in a house that was moldy? Or, have you been in a workplace where there was water damage? And the stories that come back and the huge understanding and appreciation that I get from clients when it's like, oh my goodness, in college, I lived in this place and I knew there was mold in there. And that could have been 10 years ago, but the body doesn't forget. It holds on to these things and they're really hard to deal with if you're not actively trying to help get rid of them and help them move out. Anyways, I kind of rambled there. But the whole point is that if you're dealing with symptoms, this is something I can help you with. I love digging in and figuring out what's going on and helping people like come back into balance and get their body the support it needs to function properly so you can start feeling better again. So if this is something that you're looking for support with, send me a message. On Facebook, I'll drop the link in the comments so that you can check out our initial new client assessment bundle. That's again, you get 2 calls and you get a full round of testing with us. It's all about figuring out what's going on with you and what support do you need, because my experience in the past, and this is just my experience, this is not to go against medical advice, but my experience was I went to the doctor for MS. I was on medication for 7 years. I wasn't getting better. I was getting sicker. And ultimately my doctor was like, "Well, you know, it is what it is. Like we'll just keep going." And that wasn't good enough for me. It was the same when I was dealing with heavy periods. Actually, before I had heavy periods, I had no period for 5 years. And I went to one doctor. That doctor said, I don't know what's wrong with you." I went to a gynecologist that was a woman, mind-boggling, that was really highly considered a really good one in the area I was living in. And she said, "Oh, there's your lab work is fine. It must be all in your head." What? And then I went to a third doctor because I still had no periods, and they said, "Oh, well, let's put you on the pill, see if we can regulate your cycle." And that's when I had the really bad experience with the pill that ultimately could have been life-ending. So, if you're not getting the results that you want, if you're not getting the support that you want, this is somewhere that I can help you. So reach out anytime. You can send me a message or you can click the link if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, grab the link in my bio to check it out. And we can book an assessment with you, figure out what's going on with you. Because if we're ignoring that, think of a leaky bucket or leaky boat. You come out in the morning, you're at the cottage, and you're excited to go out in the boat, and you look in the boat and there's water in the bottom. And you're like, "What the heck?" So you grab a bucket and you bail it out. You think, "Oh, okay, it's fine." You go in, you put on your bathing suit, you put your shorts and your tank top, you're all excited, you go out again, there's water in the boat again. What do? You grab a bucket, you bail it out again. The thing is here, you're not figuring out why is there water in the boat. Maybe there's a hole. And if you're not dealing with the cause of why the boat keeps filling up with water, you're never actually going to get to the point where you don't have to continually continue bailing out this boat. So it's the same with our health. We need to make sure we're figuring out what the cause is and deal with that. Or ultimately, the difference with the boat is that if there's a symptom and there's some message that the body is trying to send you and you ignore it, or you put a band aid on it, like you have a bad headache. So you're taking Tylenol, you're taking Advil, you're taking Midol, you're taking antidepressants. There it is. Got it back. The SSRIs, if you're having mood swings before your period. This is a message from the body, and giving it medication to try and suppress the symptom is ignoring the message. And when the message doesn't get through, the body looks for other ways. The message gets louder. The symptoms get more severe. You're dealing with more things, and then you're either taking more medication, which ultimately is not going to lead to feeling better or being healthier in the long run. So, this is where I can help you. So, hopefully, you enjoyed this. Just kind of a, a random talk about connecting the dots between my MS journey that I've been talking about a bit more recently and how I can help you with the symptoms that you're dealing with to feel better and live well naturally. It's Kate McDowell from Aligned Natural Health. If you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of